Her chest constricted. That same practiced smile he'd worn in the store appeared again. Smooth, charming, but in the fading light it looked fragile, like a mask beginning to crack. "Evening," he said, voice silky. "Out here all by yourself?" Claire's fingers tightened around the swing's chain. "What do you want?" He laughed softly, stepping closer. "Relax. Just making sure we understand one another. You've been a little too curious about me." Her pulse jumped. He knew. Somehow he knew. "I don't know what you're talking about," she muttered, though her trembling voice betrayed her. Daniel crouched, his eyes catching the last traces of daylight. "You're clever. Smarter than your mother, even. But being too clever can turn dangerous." Claire's throat dried. She wanted to scream, to run, but her body wouldn't move. "You love your mother, don't you?" he went on, his tone calm yet sharp as a blade. "She's delicate. She needs me. If you keep stirring trouble, you'll only hurt her. And I'd hate for her to suffer because of you." His words pierced like ice. This wasn't about affection. It was control. "I know what you are," Claire whispered, forcing herself to meet his stare. "And I won't let you destroy us." For the first time his smile faltered. The mask slipped, showing what hid beneath. His voice dropped low and menacing. "Careful, Claire. You don't want to learn how far I'll go." A dog barked in the distance, breaking the silence. Daniel rose, straightening his jacket as though nothing had happened. "Enjoy your walk. But remember what I said." And then he vanished into the trees, leaving behind only the echo of his warning. Claire stayed frozen on the swing, trembling. The park that once felt safe now seemed like a trap, every shadow alive with threat. Stumbling home, her thoughts spun. That night, she locked her bedroom door and pulled the USB from beneath the floorboard. Her evidence no longer felt like a shield. It felt like a target painted on her. Daniel knew she was digging, and he wouldn't let it go. Staring out at the darkness beyond her window, Claire realized the war had changed. Daniel wasn't lurking anymore. He'd stepped into the open. And if she didn't move soon, he'd strike first. Sleep barely came that night. His voice echoed in her mind. The warning replaying like a curse. Asterisk, careful, Claire. You don't want to find out how far I'll go. Asterisk. Every creak in the house startled her. Every shadow seemed to carry his shape. Yet by morning, her mother acted as if nothing had changed, smiling, humming as she cooked breakfast. A woman blinded by love. Claire couldn't bear it. The silence suffocated her. Pretending was unbearable. Something inside her snapped. She wouldn't wait for Daniel to attack. She had proof. She had determination. And now she had fury. The breaking point came on a Saturday. Her father had already gone to work. Her mother was tidying the living room when Claire's phone buzzed. A new message. An unknown number, though she knew exactly who it was. "Stay quiet or you'll regret it." Her hands shook as she thrust the phone toward her mother. "Do you see? He's threatening me." Her mother froze, the rag slipping from her hand. Her face paled, lips trembling. "Claire, please, you don't understand. He doesn't mean it." Claire's anger surged. "Doesn't mean it? He cornered me in the park. He threatened me. And you're still defending him." Tears welled in her mother's eyes, but still she whispered, "I love him." That was the final fracture. Claire's vision blurred with fury. "Then you've chosen him over me, your own daughter." The argument exploded. Shouts, venom, years of resentment spilling out. Her mother's neglect. The lies. The betrayal. And then, the sound Claire would never forget. The front door opening. Slow. Measured. Daniel. He stepped inside as though the house belonged to him, his presence pulling the air from the room. "What's happening here?" he asked, voice smooth though his eyes were cold. Her mother rushed to him like a lifeline. "Elin, she knows. She won't stop." Daniel's gaze locked on Claire. "We had an understanding," he said softly, almost kindly. "But you didn't listen." Fear rippled through her, but rage burned hotter. "Stay away from us," Claire snapped. He advanced, towering, his smile gone. Or what? Something inside her broke. Her hand flew to the fireplace mantel, seizing the heavy glass candle holder. She didn't think. She just swung. The crack of glass on bone was sickening. Daniel staggered, eyes wide with shock, blood gushing from his temple. He dropped to his knees, then collapsed, crimson spreading across the rug. Her mother screamed, cradling him. "What have you done?" she sobbed. Claire stood frozen, the candle holder slick in her grip, heart pounding. Her mother knelt in blood, clutching the man who had threatened them both. Tears stung Claire's eyes, but the truth was clear. She hadn't just struck Daniel. She had shattered her mother's illusion. The man she loved lay bleeding, maybe dying. And Claire was the one who had done it. Her mother's cries filled the house, raw and broken. "You've killed him." Claire dropped the weapon, shaking. "I saved us," she whispered, though she wasn't sure she believed it. The metallic stench filled her lungs, the room spinning, blood smeared across her mother's trembling fingers. And Claire knew nothing would ever return to normal. Her mother's sobs echoed long after the candle holder clattered to the floor. Daniel sprawled on the rug, blood seeping into the fibers, his chest rising in shallow breaths. Claire couldn't move. The image burned into her mind, the red spreading wider, her mother's desperate hands pressing the wound, and her own reflection staring back from the window. A girl who had crossed a line she could never uncross. Her mother's voice snapped her back. "Call an ambulance," she pleaded, panic cracking her tone. "We can still save him." Claire's throat tightened. Save him. After everything? Her mother's tear-streaked face twisted in desperation. "He's the man I love. You don't understand." The words cut deeper than any wound. Even as Daniel bled out, her mother clung to him as if he were her salvation, not her poison. Claire's chest ached with betrayal, but she forced herself to act. Dialing with shaking hands, she gave the address in a mechanical voice. The minutes before the sirens came dragged endlessly. Claire sat curled, knees to chest, while her mother refused to let go of Daniel. Watching them, Claire wondered if anyone would see her as the criminal instead of the victim. When paramedics arrived, the rest blurred. Daniel was lifted onto a stretcher, skin pale, breath shallow, but alive. Questions were asked, but Claire barely registered them. Her mother followed, clutching his hand as he was taken away. Claire stayed behind, the house thick with the smell of blood and the silence of broken trust. Her father came home later, his confusion quickly turning to horror as he saw the dark stain on the rug. "What happened here?" he demanded. Claire's mother spoke before she could. "It was an accident," she murmured, her voice hollow and flat. "He slipped, hit his head." Claire's mouth parted in disbelief. "That's not what happened." Her mother's sharp glare cut her off. "Not another word," she hissed under her breath, just loud enough for Claire to hear. "If you say anything, you'll destroy us all." Those words struck harder than Daniel's threat in the park. This wasn't protection anymore. It was silence, bound by loyalty twisted into something dangerous. Claire looked at her father, saw the confusion in his eyes, his need for answers, but the weight of her mother's command chained her in place. That night, once her father had gone to bed drowning in unanswered questions, Claire sat in her room staring at the USB drive hidden beneath the floorboard. On it, everything she needed. Proof of Daniel's lies, evidence of his deceit. But what use was truth when her own mother was determined to bury it? The silence pressed on her chest like a weight, suffocating her. Each breath carried her mother's voice. Not a word. Claire lay awake, wondering if she had actually saved them, or if she had only locked herself inside another kind of prison. Not Daniel's, but her mother's refusal to let go. The following morning, her mother returned from the hospital. Her skin looked ashen, her clothes faintly stained with blood. She avoided Claire's eyes as she whispered, "He's alive. He'll recover." Instead of relief, dread sank into Claire's bones. Daniel wasn't gone. He was still out there. And when he woke, he wouldn't forget. As her mother disappeared into her bedroom and shut the door, Claire knew the silence was only temporary. The real reckoning was coming. Daniel's survival should have brought comfort, but for Claire, it felt like a death sentence. Each day stretched her nerves thinner. Her mother spoke of him softly, updating his recovery like a devoted lover instead of a victim. "He'll be discharged soon," she whispered one morning as if it were good news. To Claire, it was a warning. She couldn't erase the memory of his smile fading in the park, the venom in his whispered threat. Nor could she forget the feel of blood on her hands. Hot, heavy, proof she had dared to fight. But Daniel wasn't the type to let defiance slide. Claire had to choose. Stay silent as her mother demanded, or speak the truth and risk tearing her family apart. Either way, breathing felt like drowning. The reckoning arrived when her father uncovered the USB. He found it beneath the floorboard while repairing a creak in the wood. Claire returned from school to find him in the kitchen, pale, hands trembling as the recording played. Daniel's voice filled the air. "If you're serious about us, prove it." Her father's eyes burned with betrayal. "How long have you known?" Claire's throat tightened. "Long enough. I tried to tell her, she wouldn't listen." His face hardened, storm clouds gathering. That night, he confronted her mother. Voices erupted. Sharp, furious, unstoppable. Years of lies unraveled in one brutal fight. Claire sat at the top of the stairs, listening. Her father's voice cracked with rage. Her mother's broke into desperate pleas. "You chose him over us," her father shouted. "Over your own daughter." Her mother's sobs echoed upward. "I made a mistake. I thought he loved me. I didn't know how to stop." The house shook with their war, but under it all, Claire's dread lingered. Daniel wasn't gone. He was waiting. The next evening, the doorbell rang. Her mother rushed to answer, panic sharp in her voice. "It's him," she whispered. Daniel stood in the doorway, pale, smiling despite the bandages on his head. His grin looked grotesque. "Miss me?" Her father blocked the entry, fury carved into his face. "You're not welcome here." But Daniel's eyes slid past him, locking on Claire with quiet menace. "We need to finish our conversation," he said softly. Something inside Claire broke. She stepped forward, her voice steady though her body shook. "No. We're done. You don't control us anymore." Daniel's smile twitched. "Careful, girl. You think you can bring me down?" Her father grabbed his phone. "The police are on their way." For the first time, Daniel's mask shattered. The charm vanished, leaving only raw, burning rage. "You'll regret this," he snarled. But his retreat was clumsy. Weak from injury, he disappeared into the night as sirens wailed in the distance. Police arrived, took statements. Claire's hidden folder finally came into the light. Her mother wept as the truth spilled free, every lie laid bare under the cold scrutiny of law. When it ended, Claire stood at her window, watching the red and blue fade into the dark. She had chosen truth, but it didn't feel like victory. It tasted like ash. Her mother sat alone in the living room, face buried in her hands. Her father paced in silence, each step heavy with betrayal. Claire whispered to herself, "Justice or damnation? Maybe they're the same." Because even with Daniel gone, the scars he left behind would never fade.